Today, we continue our series on ecology and conservation
Today we continue our series on ecology and conservation
with a look at a particularly endangered member
with a look at a particularly endangered member
of the black bear family.
of the black bear family.
1 in 10 black bears
1 in 10 black bears
is actually born with a white coat,
is actually born with a white coat,
which is the result of a special gene
which is the result of the special gene
that surfaces in a few.
that surfaces in a few.
Local people have named it the spirit bear,
Local people have named it the spirit bear,
and according to the legends of these communities,
and according to the legends of these communities,
its snowy fur brings with it a special power.
its snowy fur brings with a special power.
Because of this,
Because of this,
it has always been highly regarded by them,
it has always been highly regarded by them,
so much that they do not speak of seeing it to anyone else.
so much that they do not pick up seeing it to anyone else.
It is their way of protecting it when strangers visit the area.
It's their way of protecting it when the stranger visits the area.
The white bear's habitat is quite interesting.
The white bear's habitat is quite interesting.
The bear's strong relationship with the old-growth rainforest
The bear's strong relationship with the old-growth rainforest
is a complex one.
is a complex one.
The white bear relies on the huge centuries-old trees in the
The white bear relies on the huge centuries-old trees
forest in many ways.
in the forest in many ways.
For example, the old-growth trees have extremely long roots.
For example, the old-growth trees have extremely long roots
That help prevent erosion of the soil
that help prevent erosion of the soil
along the banks of the many fish streams.
along the banks of the many fish streams.
Keeping these banks intact
Keeping these banks intact
is important because these
is important because
streams are home to salmon,
these streams are homes to salmon,
which are the bear's main food source.
which are the best main food source.
In return, the bear's feeding habits nurture the forest.
In return, the best feeding habits nurture the forest.
As the bears eat the salmon, they
As the bears eat the salmon,
discard the skin and bones in
they discard the skin and bones
great amounts on the forest floor,
in great amounts on the forest floor,
which provide vital nutrients.
which provide vital nutrients.
These produce lush vegetation that
These produce lush vegetation
sustains thousands of other types of life forms,
that sustains thousands of other types of life forms,
from birds to insects and more.
from birds to insects and more.
Today, the spirit bear lives off the coast of the
Today, the spirit bear lives off the coast
province of British Columbia on a few islands.
of the province of British Columbia on a few islands.
There is great concern for their survival,
There is a great concern for their survival,
since it is estimated that less than 200 of these white bears remain.
since it is estimated that less than 200 of these white bears remain.
The best way to protect them is to
The best way to protect them
make every effort to preserve the delicate balance of their
is to make every effort to preserve the delicate balance
forest environment.
of their forest environment.
In other words, their ecosystem.
In other words, their ecosystem.
The greatest threat to the bear's existence
The greatest threat to the bear's existence
is the loss of its habitat.
is the loss of its habitat.
Over many years,
Over many years,
logging companies have stripped the land
logging companies have stripped the land
by cutting down a large number of trees.
by cutting down a large number of trees.
In addition, they have
In addition,
built roads which have fractured the areas
they have built roads which have fractured the areas
where the bear usually feeds,
where the bear usually feeds,
and many hibernation sites have also been lost.
and many hibernation sites have also been lost.
The logging of the trees along the streams
The logging of the trees along the streams
has damaged the places where the bears fish.
has damaged the places where the bears fish.
To make matters worse,
To make matters worse,
the number of salmon in those streams is declining.
the number of salmon in those streams is declining
Because there is no legal limit on fishing at the moment.
because there is no legal limit on fishing at the moment.
All these influences have a negative impact
All these influences have a negative impact
on the spirit bear's very existence,
on spirit bear's very existence,
which is made all the more fragile
which made all the more fragile
by the fact that reproduction among these bears
by the fact that the production among these bears
has always been disappointingly low.
has always been disappointingly low.
And so, what's the situation going forward?
And so, what's the situation going forward?
Community organizations,
Community organizations,
environmental groups,
environmental groups,
and the British Columbia government
and the British Columbia government
are now working together on the problem.
are now working together on the problems.
The government is now requiring logging companies
The government is now requiring the logging companies
to adopt a better logging method,
to adopt a better logging method,
which is a positive step.
which is a positive step.
However, these measures alone may
However, these measures alone
not be sufficient to ensure a
may not be sufficient to ensure
healthy population of the spirit bear in the future.
a healthy population of spirit bear in the future.
Other steps also need to be taken.
Other steps also need to be taken.
While it is important to maintain the spirit bear's habitat,
Why it is important to maintain the spirit bear habitat,
there also needs to be more emphasis on its expansion.
there also needs to be more emphasis on its expansion.
The move is justified as it will also create space for other bears that are losing their homes.
The move is justified as it also creates space for other bears that are losing their homes.